Alan Watts, the English philosopher, was actually right when he said, "You are that vast thing that you see far, far off with great telescopes." Meaning, we actually have always been primarily, principally, exclusively, and fundamentally responsible for ourselves as well as for our nature, desire, intention, action, and relationships. And we are also accountable for who we are, what we become, and what we end up achieving, thinking, and doing, and not the others, the external world, or even outside authorities or arbitrary powers. Now, we may actually talk about and we may even criticize and condemn external interferences, societal corruption, political domination, and other evil influences that constantly corrupt our lives and interfere in our actions and characters and authenticity. But it ultimately boils down to who we are and what we want to become and what we want to think about that molds our character into something. We still have, at the end of the day, some authority, control, and command left in our hands that translates into our mentality as well as into our actions directly. And that's why we cannot actually always criticize, condemn, or violate the other authorities and external powers for their influences and overwhelming power over our lives, because we still have at least some power using which we can still prioritize our emotional, mental, psychological, spiritual well-being and overall upliftment and elevation from our ignorance and arrogance and aggression and become something else entirely. We can still focus on the development and the subsequent achievement of integrity, morality, character. We can still obviously come to the identification of all our darknesses and integrate that into ourselves, because until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives and we will call it fate. So that's how it works. And the more we see, the more we find ourselves, because it's the ego, it's the projection of our weaknesses, shortcomings, deficiencies, and insecurities onto the others and onto the other things that makes us weak. So we may come to judgments and assessments about the others, but we may not always be complete absolutely from within ourselves. So that's how it works. And the farther we look, the more we find our own reflection and projection of our weaknesses in those distances. So that's how it works. That's how most people are, if not all.